I was just going to do a quick segment on racials that I can then put on YouTube. It's nothing too crazy, just wait, let me show you this shit. Okay. So I've basically written out all the racials on this side's Alliance and this side's Horde. And this is for Disc Priest specifically, the tier that I rate them. Night Elf is possibly A tier. I'm not certain. I probably won't be going Night Elf. Lightforged is likely to get nerfed. The damage is likely to get nerfed because it's quite an obvious thing that people can complain about. Oh yeah, I got one shot by Lightforged racial, yada yada yada. So I can see this getting nerfed somehow. And I don't really want to race change twice. They've recently announced that Dark Iron, Dwarf, and Undead were supposed to have 30-second shed of Trinket and not 1 minute, so they're all non-dead again. Human is up to 130 shed with Trinket, so it's even more dead than it was before. Unsure what they're thinking there. 1 minute there was enough of a nerf IMO. At least to make healers reroll, due to the blind issue with Trinket. Which is basically if you trinket the first blind of a rogue and then you can't human for 1 minute. If you human anything after instantly when it comes up, you're going to delay your next trinket coming up because it's going to put a 1 minute on it as well. So if you wait 1 minute after, if you wait like say 15 seconds after your human coming up and then use it, then it's going to put a 1 minute cooldown on your trinket, which was on 45 seconds cooldown before. So the rogue's blind will come up before your trinket does. You'll get blinded immediately and lose the game. Or at least use a lot of cooldowns. So human is RIP for healers because of that, and even more RIP now because it's 1 minute 30. So yeah, human is done. So Worgen, trash tier. Dwarf is okay, but Dark Iron just completely overshadows it because you want to play Dwarf if there's a lot of, I guess, ferals, Asa rogues, shit like that in the meta. That's why I usually play Dwarf, and the 10% Fizz damage reduction kind of is like a secondary benefit from that. And the secondary benefit from Dark Iron is just insanely way better. 933 main stat is about 15 to 25% of your overall main stat at the start of the expansion. I think in full early raid gear, I'm at about 6.5k, so you'll be at around 4 to 6, I guess. Making this really good, especially if you remove the effects. Again, Lightforge is hitting really hard. I'm expecting it to get nerfed. If not, then great. I'll go Lightforge RMP. If it does, then if it doesn't, but if it does, then obviously I want to be something else. So I'm tempted to go Void Elf or Dark Iron. Probably going to be Dark Iron. Dark Iron. What I'm most likely to do is re-roll my main to Horde, play Undead on it, and then level my Human and roll that to Dark Iron, and then that'll be my 2 characters. No High Mountain Torment. No, High Mountain Torment can't be Priest. So that's why that's not on there. This is just for priests, just for Disc Priest and Holy Priest, and I guess Shadow, but we're not really talking about Shadow because you go with different racials for different reasons and that. Void Off is good too, but I think Dark Iron, with how good main stat is at the moment, is probably the best. So I'm tempted to say Night Off is somewhere in between these two, but I've just got it on S tier at the moment. Then there's the 2 new races, right? Zandalari and Culture, and we don't know what they do yet, so we'll have to wait and see. I'm guessing that they're waiting to announce what they do until after everyone race changes at the start of the expansion for all this other new shit. And then people will have to race change again, and then they get double benefit. Dry and Eye is okay. Off global, 20% heal over 5 seconds. Gnome is pretty good, depending on meta. You can roll Gnome if there's a lot of Moonkins in the meta, a lot of mages, shit like that. But you can even get away from melee and stuff with it if you pop that and a feather since it's off global. And you can Pillar Kite, which is nice. There is a lot of mobility in the game at the moment though, so that kind of reduces how good Escape Artist actually is. But it's 1 minute cooldown, so it's kind of handy. But yeah, Dark Iron is great for Shadow Priest as well. It removes silence, so I'll probably be going Dark Iron. Yeah, for Horde, that's Alliance. For Horde, I'll definitely be going Undead. I thought Undead was RIP. If Undead stayed 1 minute shared, then it would be like below Goblin and Troll here, and Goblin would probably be either Goblin or Troll be the way to go. 15% haste for 10 seconds is pretty nice. It's like almost PI. Um, and then yeah, Goblin would be S tier if Rocket Jump and Rocket Barrage weren't on the same cooldown. But since they're on the same cooldown, it's like you kind of have to choose which one you're going for, right? Um, so it's it's A tier, I think. Um, Troll is really good for PvE as well. Bear that in mind. And then we got Magheart, Orc, and Tauren both B tier. The War Stomp's just gonna DR stuff, a bit more tanky, but other than that, not a lot to offer. And Magheart, it's a random secondary stat, so you can't decide what it's gonna be, which kind of fucks you a little bit because sometimes you might want to do more healing and you'll get. I guess most things are fine for that, but if you want to do more damage and you get mastery, it kind of sucks. So. It's got 10% mount speed though, which is nice, and reduced poison, cursed disease duration, which is fine, I guess. Nothing special there. Um, and then we got C tier. These are all just like never play these races because they don't have racials basically. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my racial rundown. I think I've gone over everything. Yeah, Orc is not here as well because you can't be priest as Orc. Yes, but not after. So if you're on global, you can't use will. But if you use will, you don't get a global after using it. Yeah, you could play relentless as human, but I think it's still for ladder play. Like obviously different races for different comps and against different matchups, you're gonna play different shit all the time. But I think for ladder play, like if you're not gonna be playing relentless as human, you're not always gonna get a benefit from the human racial, and you're gonna be having a rough time against stuff where you do need your trinket and just not having a racial full stop. Like I think this is such a fucking strong cooldown in terms of healing. I think you can play human against some stuff. If you're like playing on LAN or something, and you're playing at something that you want relentless, right? You can play human with relentless and human the stuns. But it's 3 minute CD as well. It's fucking madness. You can human like one stun in a game basically. The way meta is right now. Um, so if you can like select human against certain comps, then sure, I think it's gonna be worth. But for the majority of comps, I think it's fucking dead. So for like ladder or whatever. And I think undead is definite BS on Horde. Yeah, it's 3 minute on the racial as well. It's so dead, dude. Like it's useful against a handful of comps, I think. But yeah, I really can't. There's a lot of good shit on Alliance, and it's like I can't really decide which my favorite is. I think it's Dark Iron, but I was most likely gonna go Light Forged or Void Elf, but then they said that the Dark Iron 1 minute shared was not intended, and it's now 30 seconds. And Dark Iron CD is 2 minutes as well. It's just I don't know. Race change is unethical and breaks immersion. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much my thoughts. And I just logged on all the different shit earlier on beta and just had a quick look. I've not included all the like 1% damage reduction to like arcane nature, shadow and stuff. I don't think anything's really close enough that it gets made or like make or break, you know, with that 1%. Like I would probably go light forged. Um, if it wasn't for like it's so obviously it's like this could be broken, but it's less obvious, right? Because it's making everything hit harder. This is literally this big ass in your face fucking pillar of light. It's like the kind of thing that gets nerfed because people cry about it. So I don't really want to race change twice if this gets nerfed. If it doesn't get nerfed, then I'll probably level one or some shit. I don't know. Um, but yeah. For now, I'm gonna level as human. Faction change it to undead so I can play with my mates when I hit max level. Um, maybe farm a bit of rep first. I don't fucking know how it works. And then yeah, wait for everyone else to catch up with leveling. And then faction change it to Horde. And then level my human and make it Dark Iron. I think that's the way I'm gonna go. And it's like they haven't released the Zandalari. Yeah, I remember that Worgen thing. Chris went Worgen for a bit. I think that's why they haven't released Zandalari yet. Because they just want everyone to faction change to all this new shit, and then they're gonna release Zandalari, and it's gonna be OP as fuck. And everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, I've gotta be Zandalari troll, and everyone's gonna race change to that again.